Harness's cloud cost management is known to be able to show you all the different perspectives that you and your team specifically need. Being able to look at all your different cloud costs from each one of your providers, being able to break it down to specific regions or specific clusters, but make sure it was tied specifically to you. Even though this functionality was here, oftentimes it was difficult to go and grab all the different perspectives and all the different parts and pieces needed to create one. So we wanted to make that even easier. So today we'll show you how you can actually create those perspectives now using AI. So the intention here, our AI has an understanding of what you're probably looking for based on your permissions, your roles, your things that you have. So it's going to make some suggestions, in which case I probably want to look at, in this case, teams and department costs. Now, the benefit here is that Harness has an understanding of what those teams could actually be. So the different tags that you use or the different ways that you allocate different resources to those teams. So it's going to go and actually calculate that up for you to give you some options to truly define what it is that you want to carve out as quote unquote your team. As this thinks, of course, you're going to get the same output from all of the things that it's thinking about, how it's thinking about it, so that you can make sure that what it's giving you is actually valuable, and we'll let it go and generate. So the idea here, very simply, it can go ahead and aggregate by team or team and department or even cost center, and we can start looking at what these different portions and how we want to cut any of these pieces up. I'm just going to do a simple one based on team, but now again, it helps you create these based on all the knowledge it already has. You don't have to go and create a ticket with your FinOps team. You don't have to have an understanding and back and forth conversations. You can have that conversation with the AI to help you create those perspectives here and now, again, not having to wait for other teams to join in. Another thing we can do for you with AI is help you explain things. So sometimes you need a almost forensic level insight into understanding of what's going on. This can specifically happen under, say, commitment orchestration, where we're orchestrating your savings plans and your RIs. So being able to understand what 75% of your commitments means might need a little bit more explanation. So not only can you use the Harness AI to actually do things, you can also have it explain. Now, of course, we see a complete understanding of our commitments, what our active commitments are, what our utilization is over the last 30 days, how we're calculating it, and even the impact that it does. The whole idea is here to make sure that numbers aren't something that we debate. We can show you exactly how they're calculated and what they're calculated from. You can do this throughout the entire set of cloud cost. Another area where we're making it even easier to use and even better to integrate, not only with cloud cost, but also the infrastructure as code, is oftentimes there's a different understanding because our FinOps folks are sitting there looking at how to save costs, and our infrastructure teams are trying to make sure that our systems stay up and running. And so oftentimes we'll throw over the fence a big ticket that says, hey, I found this recommendation like we're looking at on the screen that says, here's how we can save some money. But the reality is then now as an infrastructure team, I have to go create with my infrastructure's code and go figure out how I can change these and orient these. And the reality is I want to keep the system up. I'm less oriented around the cost of it. So what if we could make that job even easier? And so now Harness's AI is sitting in the background doing that job for you specifically. So what it's going to go do is it's going to analyze all those different recommendations, in which case we can show you the recommendations here. But what it's going to do, it's going to aggregate them for you with the actual PR change to go and actually affect the change. So here it's simply saying that if we actually switch from a T2 medium to a T2 small, we know we can do that because we're seeing like a max utilization of around 4% CPU. So we can show confidently throughout all of our different tests that, hey, this is probably a good thing to go do. We're showing you the results of why we believe it's so. With that, we're also showing the changes and the commits. So the intention here is let's go switch those instance types from a T2 medium to a T2 small. No longer do I have to create a ticket, have the infrastructure teams look at it and ignore it. We can actually go ahead and have them take this, review it, and approve the PR, which actually makes the change automatically. Again, removing that worst part of the job of having to go back and forth between the tickets. Here's the actual change with all the evidence and the proof. Harness is making this even simpler and even easier to implement all of your infrastructure changes by tying that cost to it for you automatically.